Discussing a little bit more specifically the recent approval for NTRK fusion positive lung cancers and tissue agnostic NTRK fusion positive cancers in general of entrectinib. Again, we have a very active molecule here. The response rate, I think, is quoted in this study in the 60% range. But when you look at the waterfall plots, practically all patients seem to derive some benefit. There's definitely documented CNS activity, CNS responses, and durable responses as well. So we're looking at a really active, highly potent and well-tolerated drug that's an excellent choice for our patients.
As I mentioned before, entrectinib and other NTRK tyrosine kinase inhibitors are generally well tolerated. We see some unusual side effects which are due to inhibition of TRK pathway, and those are dizziness, perioral numbness, and weight gain. Majority of the side effects, however, are mild. Discontinuation of the drug due to adverse event is very rare. Similar side effect profiles are seen with larotrectinib, which is another agent currently approved for NTRK rearranged cancers. As with entrectinib, same weight gain, dizziness, perioral numbness is reported, and discontinuation rate is also very low with larotrectinib.
In terms of considering data from basket trials and whether I put more stock in efficacy in a particular tumor type or a drug's overall efficacy across all tumor types, I think the answer is it depends. Certainly for NTRK fusion, non-small cell lung, NTRK fusion comparing non-small cell lung cancer to other tumor types, the non-small cell lung cancer group is so rare that you also look at the breadth, the activity in other tumor types as well. And I think what you see, whether it's larotrectinib or entrectinib, is you see one, activity in non-small cell lung cancer, and two, you see potent activity across other tumor types. So taken together for NTRK fusions, I put a lot of stock in the activity overall among multiple tumor types because it's so rare in non-small cell lung cancer, and because within those patients, there's also activity as well. So I think, but I think it depends on the molecular aberration. I think histology and tumor type is important potentially in other genomic aberrations that drive cancer. For example, dabrafenib and trametinib, that's BRAF mutant lung cancer, BRAF mutant melanoma with V600E, very effective, but potentially less so looking at colon cancer. So that's a type where where tumor histology and tumor type may be more relevant. We're now developing KRAS G12C specific inhibitors, and it's early days, but we seem to see more activity in non-small cell lung cancer, at least as an early snapshot. We need more patients compared to other tumor types that we saw presented in the CodeBreak trial at ASCO this year, where there was less responses in terms of patients that were treated with that were not non-small cell lung cancer. So I think we need to. It also depends on what the genomic aberration is, but certainly for NTRK, I put a lot of stock in the basket trial pan-tumor type activity on top of the activity we see in non-small cell lung cancer.
I think nowadays the ideal is to develop targeted drugs with CNS penetration, especially in my field of thoracic oncology, where practically all patient subsets, are at risk, for CNS metastasis. Now, if you think about the tissue agnostic approval of these drugs, not all of the cancers will have a high likelihood of CNS metastasis, but many of them do. And certainly lung cancer belongs to them. So it might not be an absolute must as a feature for this drug for every single patient, but for a very good subset it is. So it's a nice thing to have, and especially for patients with lung cancer. And some of these fusions occur in CNS malignancies as well. It's very important to have that additional characteristic as well. So I'm very happy with that. I think NTRK fusion testing is basically recommended across the board for metastatic cancers with limited management options. So I think all of us have to think about not just tissue specifically. For lung cancer, we certainly have the mandate to test a number of actionable markers, EGFR, KRAS, RET, et cetera, and NTRK is one of that packet. It's a rare member of it, 0.3% or so, but an important one. But it's really across tumor types. I think the clinician needs to remember that if you face a patient with an advanced cancer of practically any origin. At one point, that expanded molecular testing that includes NTRK fusion testing and energy fusion testing, that expanded profile will be beneficial to you as the clinician to feel comfortable guiding your patient to the best treatment choice, and definitely will benefit your patient as well to make sure that, all opportunities are exhausted to make sure that, they can reach the best life expectancy and best quality of life they can have, even in the face of an advanced malignancy.